Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Devontae, and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. So I just want to say, any takers as far as how long it's going to take for people to come up with the excuses as far as the Olympics? You know, the same Olympics that didn't affect Raw's numbers or SmackDown's numbers. Hell, even NXT for the most part got higher view. Actually, NXT viewership numbers combined by themselves. Well, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Let me revert back. Rewind. NXT's views by themselves got more viewership numbers than Collision and Rampage combined last week, and they were all during the Olympics. Help me out here, folks. When I mean, look at your wrist right now, okay? We're gonna time it, okay? How long will it take for people to come up with the useless excuse of the Olympics? Either A, you have the content, or B, wait for it, you don't have the content. If people wanted to watch your show other than the Olympics, then guess what? They would have watched your show other than the Olympics. Just based off the fact that we at least know, at least from a statistical standpoint, going off of your average, that there's at least 1 million fans out there who are very much aware of your television program. One may even make an argument that from a peak viewership standpoint, there's at least nearly 1.5 million fans out there who are very much aware of your television programming. And if you even want to go a little bit further, considering that it is professional wrestling overall, I can't help but think that the wrestling fans over there in WWE aren't aware of your channel also. I just want to be a reminder, just a bit of a reminder, okay? Raw got 1.73 million views last week, right? Or I guess this week, last Monday. 1.73 million views during the Olympics on a different channel. You mean to tell me 1/3 of the AEW audience coming out of that fan base right there couldn't be bothered to watch AEW? Huh? You're gonna sit here and lie to me and say that happens to be the case? Folks, AEW this week got a viewership number of 622,000, barely going up from his 609,000 views last week. That's a 13,000 view increase. So again, I just want to ask, what is there to blame this week? What is there to blame this week? Now, just to kind of go over what happened last night for the, recap, Lord. You guys want me to go over what happened last night? I won't go too long, just at least name some of the segments, some of the key segments, some of the things that actually happened last night, just in case you didn't watch the review last night, because I hate you for not watching my review last night. Yeah, I went full Mercedes Monae, and I said last night like 10 times. I told you, she's my biggest inspiration right now. Let's go over what happened last night. We had MJF versus Kyle Fletcher. Now, I know you guys have this built up and mind you, again, I made note of this beforehand. This is why Tony Khan does shit like this, is to kind of give you the illusion that MJF and Will Ospreay are over, which they're not. They're not over. I think I proved that already with the video that I did last week talking about the numbers they've been doing for the past couple of weeks, but I digress though. You tell yourself that MJF is over, so you keep putting him in the opener in order to pretend that he's over, when in reality he's just getting that boost from the Big Bang Theory. Anybody in that spot theoretically could have got that same boost, but you built up a false sense of security for yourself and you put MJF in this match. So you tell me, folks, is MJF to blame for the 622,000 number? Or is that the Olympics? I mean, I can't blame Kyle Fletcher, who's a fucking nobody. But that comes right back to the fact as to why did you put that match as the opener? I mean, why not at the very least build it up throughout the night? Get people attached to it. You want to do something with that in the penultimate, maybe in the middle of the card on the top of the 9 o'clock hour. No, instead you open up with this never to be seen again. I mean, is that something that's not worthy of 622,000? Oh, I'm sorry. How about we talk about the greatest match of all time with Brian Keefe versus the wrestler, in quotations, the wrestler, Kazuchika Shibata. Now, some of you might be asking yourself, what the fuck? Did you just say something about my mom? No, his name is Kazuchika Shibata. He's a Japanese talent that is a big name in Japan. Now, you're probably asking yourself, Devontae, why do I give a shit about Japan wrestling? I'm not here to make you give a shit about Japan or anything in regards to their wrestling. I'm here to tell you that this motherfucker is from Japan. And according to Tony Khan, he was very important to have on the television to, help out their dying viewership numbers. Did that contribute to the 622,000 number? I wonder, huh? Did fucking what's his name again? I forgot the guy's name. Brian Keefe. What's his fucking gimmick again? Like, isn't he like some fucking Steve Irwin type of motherfucker? Or I don't know. I really don't fucking know his gimmick, if you even want to call it a gimmick. Black Yosemite Sam. Did you think him and Goku were actually gonna draw? Did you? Oh, or maybe you have the hottest women. I heard Salamonster say this last night. I heard because someone told me, "Hey, Devontae, you should check out Salamonster's you should check out his stream last night, brother. Here are the things that he was saying." I mean, I like Salamonster. I don't have a problem with Salamonster whatsoever. Actually, I really don't. I think he's very sensible for the most part. Always said that. Even though the motherfucker blocked me, it is what it is. Let's take away from the fact that I think he's a sensible person. According to him, Mariah May and Toni Storm is the hottest women's feud in the history of AEW. Fuck. What's the ceiling to that, right? Like, what are we doing here? I mean, what are we comparing? Shit to piss or something? Like, it's the hottest women's feud in AEW history? I mean, yeah, go ahead, I guess. I mean, there's a guy over there who's 5 foot. I guess he's the world's tallest midget, am I right? But going off from Mariah May and all that stuff right there, mind you, I don't even mind Mariah May and Toni Storm's feud. They probably, I guess they have objectively the hottest feud in AEW. Could be doing more with that rather than just consistently giving it one segment, 5 minutes to 15 minutes, because you're so busy using half of that time to dedicate to useless, pointless matches when all we give a shit about in the end of the day is, the post-match stuff. But I digress, though. Mariah May taking on Viva Van. They had a full-length match. She, Mariah May, the person who's most likely going to take the belt from Toni Storm, gonna have a pretty huge grudge match coming at one of your biggest shows of the year. Had a commercial break match with a jobber. Do you think that sustained any of the viewers, Tony? How about you guys? Do you think Mariah May and Vivian Van, whatever the fuck her name is, you think that actually sustained any of the viewers? You think that's the reason why they got 622,000? Oh, okay. Maybe not. I mean, maybe we could talk about some of the promos that was happening throughout the night. Like the mishap that happened with Darby Allin and Jack Perry, when apparently one of your sponsors, I guess, happens to be Taco Bell. I guess, fuck Jack Perry. I mean, he's cool. He's sitting all those screens. I guess the Quiero my balls did something to his fucking face. Maybe, right? I don't know. Call me crazy, right? I don't know. Or maybe it was Orange Cassidy in a 6-man tag match with people that I can't even fucking remember their names right now as to whether or not they were in the match. I think I remember FTR. I think I remember Orange Cassidy. I think I remember Santos Escobar and maybe the LWO somewhere in that 6-man tag match. I think I seen fucking El Torito in that. I'm trying to figure out who the fuck was in this match, but essentially that's what you got right there. Did that contribute to the 622,000 number? Oh, maybe it was Bryan Danielson versus Jeff Jarrett, and a random match that honestly has no business being on television. I'm not even sure what was the reason behind Bryan Danielson's reasoning. I mean, I guess some people are going to say the story behind all this is Jeff Jarrett upset that Bryan Danielson won match, so he wants Bryan Danielson to be ready to win other match, so that way his match that he lost was not in vain. I mean, cool. Like I said, bit difference between story and topic. Would have liked it if they would have kind of hammered that point in throughout the night, but I get it. Wrestling, all you need is one segment and a dream, right? One segment, a dream, and a couple of fucking marks to get that shit over, right? Do you think that contributed to the 622,000 number, guys? Them having their brawl, bleeding, swearing, typical AEW shit you see every week. I mean, I don't know. Let's revert back. Maybe Britt Baker and Mercedes Moné and the cringiest promo in the history of professional wrestling. Maybe they had something to do with it. I mean, what's the old saying? Time waits for no man, because no man waits for time. So when time starts to go forward, we stand still. Time moves on forward, we stand still. And as time moves forward, and while we're standing still, that time is leaving us, and we can't get it back. Quote the Mercedes, nevermore. Fuck! Sorry, I'm still triggered over that fucking promo last night. That was so fucking horrible. God damn it. Ugh, fuck. Camala Monae. Fuck. Camala Monae. That's her new name. Her new name is Camala Monae. Or you can call her Mercedes Harris. That actually sounds really ghetto. Okay, Camala Monae is a lot better. Let's go with that. Did that contribute to the 622,000 number, huh, guys? Do you think so? Maybe Britt Baker's response of telling everyone that she's a doctor for the million for one fucking time, as if that has any meaning anymore at this point. Motherfucker, you're a wrestler. Who gives a shit? No. Okay, so it's just the Olympics there, right? I guess we go right back to the fact that it's the Olympics, because apparently the Olympics they have this specific discrimination against AEW, where apparently when it's WWE the numbers stay pretty stagnant, in some cases even go up, at least from the previous week. But when it comes to AEW, it's just like, yeah, we kind of like WWE a lot, but the Olympics, they're willing to take numbers from AEW but not from WWE. You see how fucking ludicrous this sounds? Mind you, I broke down that entire fucking episode. Did anything in that whatsoever sound compelling to you? Period. Point blank. Even the MJF and Kyle Fletcher stuff that people are for some reason praising. Seriously, folks, stop being zombies. Stop it. Okay? They do the same shit every week. Mercedes Monae, Britt Baker, none of them. None. Tony Storm, fucking Mariah, none. Brian Danielson, Jeff, none. It's the same shit every week, even for some of the good parts of the show last night. And for the things that weren't good, that were just objectively fucking horrible or boring as shit or has no business being on Dynamite, do we sit back and pretend as if none of this stuff doesn't contribute to the reasoning as to AEW's downfall at the moment? Or do we sit back and just put that shit out of our minds and just say to ourselves, well, if only AEW could just get out of the pesky way of that fucking Olympics. Gosh darn it, maybe if it wasn't raining outside. Oh my God, I think the sheep, they were just jumping over the houses, and man, I guess everybody around the world were just looking at those sheep jumping across houses and they fell asleep. Nothing happens to be AEW's fault. You need to get that fucking excuse out of your fucking mind, bro. This whole process of pretending as if you didn't do anything wrong, your fans consistently enabling you as far as this process is considered, you are always going to be stuck at this number, and it's going to be a burden. It's going to be a huge burden, because sooner or later, the more and more you stay stuck at this number, the more and more it becomes a new bracket. You see how you've already trended downwards from your average 900,000 spot to your 800,000 spot to your 700,000 spot to your 600,000 spot. You're even flirting with 500,000. You've gotten 500,000 before. You are now flirting with that number. Is that where you want to be right now? Is where you want to be right now at the regular average of what Collision used to be back in 2023, where even that show in itself is now falling? You need to stop it with the bullshit. Stop putting people on television that have no business being on television. Give us legitimate stories happening throughout the night where we can sink our teeth into, where eventually, if you do it enough times, they become relatable, and when they become relatable, they become favorites. You do that with enough superstars throughout the night. You do that with enough people, not only throughout the night, but also for the upcoming weeks, for the upcoming months. Do it for about a year. That's how you create an era. You make sure that your goal, as far as what you're trying to get done regarding every story, is layered out. It's obvious. It's super obvious. No one can take any doubt out of their mind as far as where you're going, as far as the conclusion is considered. You make that known, and you have different reasonings, different trials and tribulations to get you down to that road, to that initial goal. And mind you, it's professional wrestling. It's not like it's a determined sport. Once you get to that goal, you still have decisions as to whether or not you want to go left or you want to go right, and even in some cases down the middle. Wrestling, I'm not trying to sit here and pretend that I'm an insider, that I know what the fuck I'm talking about in regards to how booking is done, in regards to how creative is done, but I can sit back and at least look at what the fuck is being done currently right now, and I can say, gosh darn it, titty fucks, I don't know if what they're doing currently at the moment is sitting well with the rest of the wrestling community. Like I said, I don't consider people within the AEW fan base a part of the wrestling community when talking about a vast generalization, because these people, as far as how they think, where their minds go, it's very political in the sense that they don't care about what happens in regards to how AEW gets to the finish line, as long as they're getting to the finish line. They don't have to care about the things, the side products that's created as far as the negative aspects in regards to AEW, as long as it gets to the finish line. It's like politics. Like I said, it doesn't matter all the things that the candidate represents as far as how fucking detrimental they are to, say, the party in itself, or how they themselves, as far as what they contributed outside of the party, is horrible. It does not make up for the things that currently are ongoing within the party that we're trying to get across. It doesn't matter as far as the motives behind the politician, as far as what they want to get across from a political and from a personal standpoint, that we have to fucking ignore, because all that matters is what our party needs to get done. Again, professional wrestling, as far as the AEW fan base is considered, is all political, okay? And don't let them tell you otherwise. Everything that they think, how they move, how they get across, how they think, period, point blank, professional, it's all political. So what we need to do as wrestling fans, because they won't do it, is always hold AEW accountable. The amount of people who have been coming after me for the past couple of weeks because, man, Devontae, you've been really grilling AEW as of late. How about you take some of that ire and you bring it on to WWE? How many times do I have to tell you, silly bastards? Okay, I gotta tell you every time. Stop biting your ear and listen with that ear. I want AEW to not only survive, not only thrive. In some cases, I want them to beat WWE. When you put WWE in a corner and they're forced to strike, they are some of the best television, period. May I remind you of this little thing called the Attitude Era. When WWE is falling behind, they will do nothing. They will do nothing in regards to what it takes to not get to that spot as far as the number one spot. Again, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Everything doesn't matter. If Vince was around, he will stab you in the fucking eye. And I guarantee you he'll tell Hunter the same thing. If Vince was around, he will trip you. He will take you. He will throw you behind the bushes and shoot you in the back of the fucking head if it meant for him to stay number one. Nothing will stop these people for staying number one. And if AEW can combat that, you got healthy professional wrestling. Not the nonsense of the fucking Wednesday Night Wars. No, none of that garbage shit. Legitimate competition between two companies who are competent. Fuck, I just went full Sasha Banks right there. But you get what I'm saying though, right? Hold these people accountable. AEW fans aren't going to do that. Their excuse and how they enable things over and over again is just justifying good wrestling that week, when in reality the justification for the good wrestling is what happens every other week. It's a pattern of behavior that they can't break. And it looks like even with them consistently going lower and lower and lower and lower in the viewership numbers, they have every excuse prepared in the book. Let them have the excuses, but you keep constantly shooting it back in their face and telling them to go fuck off. Tell them to fuck off. As a matter of fact, I'm very curious. How far back was NXT this week at competition with AEW? NXT viewership. Let's see. I'm curious. How far back were they this week? Viewership numbers for NXT, just to kind of put it on home, 534,000 views. So a developmental company's only not even 100,000, like a few thousand, 90,000 views behind you? 88,000, I guess. 88,000 views behind you. A developmental company still in line with you, but it's the Olympics. Okay, sure. You keep telling yourself that at the end of the day, and we will keep holding you accountable. And for the people who are out there saying, why do you care? Why do you care? Because it's professional wrestling, and I'm always going to care. Just because you don't like the truth doesn't mean it isn't the truth. As always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you guys later. Another terrible show, another terrible week of professional wrestling in regards to AEW. Will they do better next week? Not just the ratings, not just the viewership number, but actually, putting out a compelling product, especially going into your biggest show of the year? Only one way to find out, and that's not to watch AEW, but to watch my channel criticizing AEW, because you know damn well I will. Deuces, P. Ice.